Q4007. If the aircraft's transponder fails during flight within Class B airspace. A. The pilot should immediately request clearance to depart the Class B airspace. B. ATC may authorize deviation from the transponder requirement to allow aircraft to continue to the airport of ultimate destination. C. Aircraft must immediately descend below 1,200 feet AGL and proceed to destination. The correct answer is B. If the aircraft's transponder fails during flight within Class B airspace, ATC may authorize deviation from the transponder requirement to allow aircraft to continue to the airport of ultimate destination. A transponder is a device that transmits the aircraft's altitude to air traffic control. It is required in all controlled airspace at and above 10,000 feet MSL, excluding at and below 2,500 feet AGL. If the transponder fails, the aircraft will not be able to transmit its altitude to ATC. This can make it difficult for ATC to maintain safe separation between aircraft. In the event of a transponder failure, the pilot should immediately notify ATC. ATC may then authorize the aircraft to deviate from the transponder requirement and continue to the airport of ultimate destination. The pilot should be aware that ATC may not always be able to authorize a deviation. In this case, the pilot may need to descend below 1,200 feet AGL and proceed to the nearest airport. 4438. When an aircraft is not equipped with a transponder, what requirement must be met before ATC will authorize a flight within Class B airspace? A. A request for the proposed flight must be made to ATC at least 1 hour before the flight. B. The proposed flight must be conducted when operating under instrument flight rules. C. The proposed flight must be conducted in visual meteorological conditions, VMC. The correct answer is A. A request for a deviation must be made to the ATC facility in charge of the airspace in question at least an hour before the anticipated operation in order for ATC to authorize deviations on a continuing or individual basis for operations of aircraft without a transponder. 4043. Aircraft being operated under IFR are required to have, in addition to the equipment required for VFR and night, at least, A. Distance measuring equipment. B. Dual VOR receivers. C. A slip skid indicator. The correct answer is C. The following tools and gear are necessary for IFR flight. 1. The instruments and gear designated for VFR flight, and, if necessary, those needed for night flights. 2. A two-way radio communications system and navigational tools suitable for the intended use of the ground facilities. 3. An indicator of the gyroscopic rate of turn, with some limitations. 4. A slip skid warning. 5. A sensitive altimeter with barometric pressure adjustment. 6. A clock with a sweep second pointer or digital presentation that shows hours, minutes, and seconds. 7. A generator or alternator with sufficient power. 8. An artificial horizon with a gyroscopic pitch and bank indication. 9. A heading indication or gyroscopic direction indicator. 4057. To meet the requirements for flight under IFR, on aircraft must be equipped with certain operable instruments and equipment. One of those required is A. A clock with sweep second pointer or digital presentation. B. A radar altimeter. C. A transponder with altitude reporting capability. The correct answer is A. A clock with sweep second pointer or digital presentation is required for IFR flight. This is because it is important for the pilot to be able to accurately track time during an IFR flight. A radar altimeter is not required for IFR flight, but it can be helpful in certain situations. For example, a radar altimeter can be used to determine the aircraft's altitude above the ground when flying in low visibility conditions. A transponder with altitude reporting capability is also not required for IF or flight, but it is strongly recommended. This is because it allows the aircraft to be identified by air traffic control and to be tracked on radar. 4375. Your transponder is inoperative. What are the requirements for flying in Class D airspace? A. The entry into Class D is prohibited. B. Continue the flight as planned. C. Pilot must immediately request priority handling to proceed to destination. The correct answer is B. In order to continue to the airport of ultimate destination, including any intermediate stops, or to move to a location where necessary repairs can be undertaken, a TC may instantly authorize deviations from transponder standards. There are no transponder requirements in Class D airspace, so if an aircraft's transponder malfunctions while in this zone, no deviation is necessary.